All right, we're back with Guilford County Schools Superintendent Dr. Whitney Oakley. She's taking your questions. So this is how you get your question in. You text it 336-379-5775. And the first question that's on there, are there still plans to build a school on Bunker Hill at Boylston in Colfax?
Yes, so we have purchased the land. That would be the Catherine G. Johnson School. So it's important to know that we're going in order of the facilities master plan. So that one is not reached construction phase yet, but is still in the design phase since we recently acquired the land. But there are still plans to build the school there within this facilities master plan.
And so the master plan, it has like, you guys have like a dashboard of what's first, next, and all that other kind of stuff so that people can look at that.
Yeah, it's very public facing. It's updated regularly. It's at gcsnc.com, and you can go to bond dashboard and you can see which project is in which phase, how much money has been spent, expected completion, things like that, so that everybody can know exactly what's going on regardless of the project.
Okay, let's talk about next year, because I know we're about to be done with this year, but you guys are already taking like assignments and things like that for like buses and things of that for next year.
Yeah, it's really time to think about next year. If you need transportation, we want people to sign up by June 13th. You only need to sign up if you're new to GCS or if you've changed your address or you're changing a school location. People who had a bus stop this year don't need to sign up for one next year. Those are due June 13th. Also in time to register kindergartners. So if you know someone or have a child that will be 5 on or before the end of August, we really want families to go ahead and sign up for kindergarten. It's so important to establish that relationship between families and homes sooner. We can practice what it looks like to walk in, go to the cafeteria, things like that. So yeah, we're closing out, but very much looking forward into the 25-26 school year and want families to be a part of that process.
All right, let's talk about the deadline for submitting a name to the new Visual Arts and Performing Arts Elementary School.
Yeah, so that school is part of the plan that was funded with bond dollars. It's a new visual and performing arts school. It's being built actually on the campus of Peeler, which was destroyed by the tornado, which is something that's important to remember. And so the board is taking recommendations now until the end of May for what the community wants that school to be called. We want that to be a very public and open process. We talked about it at last night's board meeting, and people can submit any recommendations that they have via the website. There's an easy form to click on, and then that goes to a facilities naming committee and then to the Board of Education for a full vote.
All right, so you're mom of students yourself.
Yes.
Right? You're the superintendent of schools. So let's marry these two. What is the reasonable, realistic thing for parents and kids to do like over the summer, like to keep their brains functioning and things of that nature?
I think that's a really good question. I think it depends on your family and what you're doing over the summer. We try really hard to keep reading. I think that's easy to kind of forget to do. You get in a habit and build the muscle during the school year. We also talk about what next year might be like. So if you're going to middle school, if you're going to high school, if you're going to 4th grade, like what can we think about and know? And then you put open house on the calendar. Here's when you get to see your friends again. Here's the number of days we have left. And try to keep somewhat of a structure. It doesn't have to be as structured as the school year, but it makes the transition back in August so much easier when you kind of keep the practice of a bedtime and what it feels like along the way.
Well, speaking of starting school, this person's asking, why doesn't GCS consider starting early so that students can test before Christmas break?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, and there is a current bill that has not yet been passed around calendar flexibility, and so we're keeping a close eye on that. Right now it's still state law about when we start school, but we're continuing to pay attention to that. It also has lots of implications for other things. So people want to keep their spring break. They want to keep the same days at Thanksgiving. They want to keep the same days at the winter break. And so I think it's more complicated maybe. There's a lot of rules about it, but we're paying attention, and we will continue to try to make the best choice for kids while following state law.
Gotcha. All right, well, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you taking all of those questions.